with an injury update and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Talking about his experiences with CM Punk, JBL said this on WWE's The Bump. CM Punk, I got to wrestle him a lot when he came in. I liked him then and I like him now, and I'm glad he's back. I'm proud of his journey. I thought his journey was awesome. I saw him for the first time last year in Vegas and I pulled him aside. I said, I'm really proud of what you did in MMA. That took a lot of guts to stop doing something that you're best in the world at and go do something completely different, and put all that effort that he did into that. I mean, that was ballsy. I was really proud of him for doing that. I thought it was wonderful what he did. Then to come back and the crowd's going crazy, I hate that he got hurt right when he comes back, but I've always liked CM Punk, and I think he's deserving of everything that he's done. He's worked his butt off for a lot of things. For a health update on Eddie Kingston, who suffered an injury at a recent New Japan Pro Wrestling event, Ringside News wrote that, according to PW Insider, Kingston met with surgeons today, and given the nature of his injuries, will not undergo surgery to repair his ACL and meniscus tears until at least July. Kingston shared that he has been advised to wait for his tibial fracture to heal and to undergo some physical therapy before surgeons can focus on his knee. Kingston elaborated that following surgery, his recovery is expected to take approximately 10 months. This timeline suggests a return to the ring around May 2025, assuming no further complications. Sending a request out to her fans, NXT star Cora Jade wrote this on X. I would appreciate all fan mail, but if you are going to send it, please refrain from sending it to my personal address, or more importantly, my parents'. All fan mail can be sent out to the Performance Center addressed to me. Giving his perspective on watching modern pro wrestling, Mark Henry said this to The Undertaker on the 6 Feet Under podcast. I watch it and it hurts. The number one thing that people don't do in wrestling is the struggle. I was taught the struggle in wrestling. I know what's going to happen with most matches because they don't disguise it. They don't allow you to go into a blind belief, a suspended belief to where you don't see it. I should be able to pick up every human in the ring, but there's a time when you're not supposed to. So now I got to, go punch at somebody and hit the pole, and now my hand hurts, and I try to pick him. I can't pick him up. It's the storytelling of where you go in the match. With it previously reported by Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful that Mark Henry will see his AEW contract expire this month, president of the company Tony Khan responded to a question regarding Henry's contract status on the media call for the Double or Nothing event.
Tony, looking forward to the pay-per-view this weekend. First year I'm not able to make a Double or Nothing, so pretty bummed about that. You guys did a great build for the show on Dynamite last night, I thought. Wanted to follow up.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Wanted to follow up with one of the legacy talents that have been in the news lately, Mark Henry. A report came out that his contract was expiring this month, supposedly, and was curious if you had interest in re-signing him or what his status is with the company moving forward.
I really like Mark. We have to look at that internally, but I think as far as the contract and dates, but I think Mark's a great person, and I really personally like him. He's a great media personality, as well as being a great wrestler and a great philanthropist. And I have a ton of respect for Mark, and he's been great in AEW, and I have a lot of respect for him in and out of the ring. Thank you very much.
Asked what his approach is to being on AEW programming, Tony Khan said this during that same media call. I really tried to limit the amount of appearances I've personally made over the past 5 years. It would be fair to say that less than 0.1% of television time has been spent on me over the last 5 years. That's how it should be. Occasionally, if a match had to be made or a major announcement, I would come out and do those things. I am planning to visit the fans this weekend, and I love being at the events before and after with the live crowd, signing autographs and taking photos whenever I can. It's really important to me that the focus of the show is on the wrestlers and the wrestling, even when there is a story like the struggle for control of the company, the power in the office. It's still important to feature it in the context of a wrestling show and with the wrestlers. Even with last night, I was at most 2 seconds on the show. That's how it should be. You don't need to see a ton of me. It should be about the wrestlers and the reaction Darby got when he got into the arena. Because the Young Bucks banned him from the arena and Kenny Omega has been out with surgery, there was really only one person who could lift that ban. I felt that ban needed to get lifted. It was really important for the fans going into Double or Nothing for the fans to see Darby and for him to save Bryan Danielson on his birthday and for Bryan and Darby to stand tall. FTR has been a great part of AEW. It's a really cool team AEW. It originally included Eddie Kingston, but when Eddie was injured in New Japan Pro Wrestling, we're all wishing Eddie the best and we hope he gets well soon. We all love Eddie very much, and we want to see him well and back. The team changed and the circumstances changed when Eddie got hurt. An interesting aspect of this team AEW, it was important to get Darby in the arena, and I can't wait for FTR to rejoin Bryan and Darby on Sunday. It was important Darby backed up Bryan last night, and I felt like there was only one person that could get him in there. I think it's almost important that at most it was maybe 2 seconds of me and the rest was him. It's important to showcase the wrestlers on the wrestling show. Touching on the previous discussions with WWE for a match at WrestleMania 40 between The Rock and Roman Reigns, former writer for the company and senior vice president of The Rock's 7 Bucks Productions company, Brian Gewirtz told Busted Open Radio, "When WrestleMania 39 happened, I called my friend at WWE on the creative team, and I said, just so you know, I've been talking with The Rock. Similar to The Rock-Ronda tag team that was set up but didn't happen, I said there is a good chance that Rock and Roman might be a possibility for WrestleMania 40. This is a year before. I said, what do you guys have planned for WrestleMania 40? This is the day after WrestleMania 39. Cody lost. The idea is to give him a solid year to go through many trials and tribulations, starting with Brock, and then do the rematch at WrestleMania 40. I said, okay, great. Well, this might exist, just so you know. You don't need to change anything because who knows, a year in advance, so many things can happen. Just know in the back of your mind, he's thinking about it. It wasn't just between me and the writer, it was in the inner circle. That's great, we're going to do our thing. You let us know on your end if it gets to it. It's a great problem to have. A storyline that is a great build, and this dream match. It started in the fall looking more and more like a possibility. They led us to January 1st and the promo with Jinder Mahal. At that point, it was looking very much like a possibility that Rock and Roman was going to happen. We had a meeting in Rock's hotel room. It was me, Rock, Triple H, and Nick Khan. We talked about it all. Triple H was very aware and astute of the Cody storyline, and we brought that up and talked about it for a while. At the end of that meeting, everyone enjoyed the promo with Jinder, but what everyone was talking about was the head of the table. That came about super late into our meeting at the hotel. As we were talking about Cody, it was said, I hear you, maybe we should test poll the audience. Not just the audience in San Diego, but the audience all over the world. What if I tease it but not say it directly? We brainstormed on how to do that. He did it. The place went nuts. Online went nuts. For the most part, it was overwhelmingly positive when he teased head of the table. At that point, that gives us our answer. He did the TKO announcement. He went to WWE HQ. I have 96 pages of merch and title belt ideas. It was pretty much locked in at that point, which begs the question, if all of that is the plan, why do you have Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble? The idea of Cody winning the Rumble I thought was problematic. I said in San Diego in that meeting, I thought the cleanest thing to do if we're booking Rock and Roman is to have CM Punk win the Rumble and challenge Rollins, because there is a difference storyline wise of Cody wanting to finish the story and having earned the right to finish the story by winning the Royal Rumble. Once you win the Royal Rumble, that dynamic changes. It goes from something we all want things, but now he's got it. Why would he do anything other than focus on Roman? That's what he did when he pointed to him. Why wouldn't he? That's what the character would do. I'll just say with 100% certainty, the original plan is something many more people would have hated more than anything in life itself. I can't state that any more clearly. Punk gets hurt, the dominoes start falling, things start shifting, and we get to a point where the WrestleMania press conference is coming up and we need to promote something, and now we get to the infamous Alabama promo. With Marigold star and soon-to-be WWE name Julia getting injured at a recent event, an update was provided on her by Ringside News. Earlier today, it was reported that Julia suffered a fractured wrist, sidelining her indefinitely. Following this news, NXT and WWE sources expressed hope that Julia might recover in time for NXT Heatwave. Despite her injury, WWE is still targeting an NXT Women's title match between Julia and Roxanne Perez at NXT Heatwave on July 7th. However, these plans are tentative and depend on Julia's recovery progress and her commitments with Marigold. According to the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, sources in Japan familiar with Julia's situation indicated that she was not expected to start with WWE so soon, even before her injury. Officials from the Marigold promotion share this belief. Regarding talk of Julia potentially starting with WWE at NXT Heatwave before Julia was injured, it was said by those in Japan who know her that she was not starting in WWE that soon. Marigold is also of that belief. Those close to her also say that she will not be starting that soon, and all the necessary paperwork for her, her mother and her boyfriend who are moving with her to Florida, has to be completed for her to be in NXT full time. However, since the show is in Canada, not the US, the visa restrictions aren't there, so from a legal standpoint, she could do the show. Those close to WWE's newest recruit have indicated that Julia's full-time start with NXT hinges on completing the necessary paperwork for her, her mother, and her boyfriend, all of whom are moving with her to Florida. Since NXT Heatwave is in Canada, visa restrictions do not pose an issue, making her participation legally feasible. Moreover, Julia is expected to lead the next class of talent reporting to the WWE Performance Center, which will include recruits from the recent Australia tryouts. Regardless of her debut timeline, WWE plans to maintain Julia's current persona, acknowledging her established identity and popularity, which will aid in her WWE journey. As he has not been seen on AEW programming in some time, Ricky Starks said this about his future, telling What Culture Wrestling, "The idea of even being at WrestleMania is so, I don't even think, I think I had that dream and then I stopped having that dream for whatever reason. Not to be sad or anything, I don't know why, but I think everybody dreams about that, but AEW has its own WrestleMania, so to speak, with All In. It did suck last year to not be on it. I don't want to set myself up for disappointment, and I don't want to publicly say that I'm going to be on All In this year and then I just don't. I'm kind of superstitious like that in a way. I am, but I'm not. Would it be nice? For sure. Do I know that I will? I don't know. Do I hope? Yeah, but if not, I also get it too. What I mean by that is I also get like, hey, some just don't work out for you If we've known by now in my career, something's just, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen for me, and that's okay. I don't want to harp on that or focus on that part because I'll just be stuck in a space. So I think what's next for me is, dude, I have no clue. I don't know. I have no clue. I would love to be back wrestling and doing something with substance, but that is not in my control. So I don't know, to be real with you. Hopefully you see me back on screen real soon. Yeah, because I'm ready. Expressing his dislike for a social media platform, Jon Moxley said this to Hey EW. I don't like Twitter at all. It's hard to escape it. I feel like Twitter particularly brings out the worst out of everyone. It's the worst way for people to interact. It's terrible. Everyone should just drop it. I will keep it for emergencies. My advice to the entire world would be, get off that thing. Take it off your phone. Throw it in the garbage. We don't need Twitter. Asked what advice he would give to stars that are younger and trying to make a name in WWE, Jey Uso told the Battleground podcast, if you're trying to do this for like some likes and views and fame, this ain't it, bro, because a lot of homies are lined up for that and they're all gonna fail. I feel like just learn this craft. If you really love it, just start in the ring first. Learn the art of wrestling, right? Like, it's cool with characters, but I always take pride in that. Not a lot of people can do the entertainment part, the acting part, let alone do the athleticism in the ring, the moves, the bumps. The movement with someone else in there is different with two people, let alone 4 or 5. Protect the art, protect the business. If you really want to get down and learn, just don't do what you see on Instagram. You know what I'm saying, Oos? Just protect what we love. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Going over a potential return to AEW programming for a former champion, Ringside News wrote that Maxwell Jacob Friedman's potential comeback looms on the horizon. While no definitive date can be confirmed, discussions have been underway about MJF's return to the AEW screen. Details concerning the presentation adjustments and the overall plan have been thoroughly discussed between MJF and AEW. According to Fightful Select, multiple sources within AEW anticipate his return sooner rather than later, with many speculating his re-entry into the fold by the Forbidden Door event in New York, if not earlier. MJF has been absent from action since December 30th, marking the conclusion of his record-breaking AEW World Title reign at World's End. Despite grappling with numerous injuries, MJF was determined to see through his reign. Preceding his hiatus were several alterations, largely influenced by Adam Cole's injury. Remaining under contract with AEW for an extended period, MJF secured an extension at some point after the contentious AEW Double or Nothing 2023 pay-per-view. However, the exact transition from his prior deal, set to expire December 31st, 2023, to the new one remains unclear. While AEW officials were aware of his contractual status, MJF opted not to confirm the details to industry insiders, fostering speculation that his deal terminated by the end of 2023. Notably, MJF stands as one of AEW's top earners under this agreement. Regarding rumors of shoulder surgery, no concrete information has surfaced. Nevertheless, MJF faced a plethora of injuries by the conclusion of his participation at AEW World's End in 2023. Touching on an opponent for his retirement match down the line, Rey Mysterio said this to Shaq Wrestling. If I had to pick another opponent out there, I truly believe that because we tap into our roots, Santos Escobar would be a person that I would most definitely love to face. Mentioning those that have recently been released by WWE, seemingly, Ringside News wrote that WWE executed a series of layoffs today, impacting several long-standing employees within the organization. At press, the specific divisions affected by these layoffs remain unspecified, though it is believed that multiple areas within the company have been hit. This development closely follows the recent announcement of a merger between the UFC and WWE live events divisions, leading to speculation about the connection between these two events. We are told there were a few layoffs, including some long-standing employees. While we have not confirmed the specific divisions involved, it is believed to span more than one area of the company, reported PW Insider. In an update from Fightful Select, Kristen Prouty was named as one of the individuals let go. Prouty, who had been with WWE since 2000, held the position of Senior Vice President of Entertainment Relations for nearly 20 years and played a key role in securing the Logan Paul deal. Another significant departure is Tavia Hartley, who was hired in 2021 as a talent operations and appearances manager. As of now, there have been no reports of talent cuts. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.